Hello, my name is Bo Corkins, and welcome to Math 1000 Problem Solving Online, the fall 2026 semester. So, I want to walk us through, all right, some details of the course. So, ideally, you went into problem solving. And mostly what we're going to do is we're going to go through this information walking you through the getting started checklist. So your Canvas shell should open to this page. And so you basically we're going to be walking through this. These numbers actually on here, one to 10, are the same, all right, that are on the getting started checklist. So, all right, again, all we're going to be doing, walking through this list. So you are currently watching this video, all right? And basically, all the videos of my course are on YouTube, which you can basically identify, all right, by going to YouTube and then searching for my YouTube channel. Okay, so the intro to online learning webpage, basically the first idea here, all right, is that lots of stuff for dealing with online. All right, help zone. All right, online learning orientation. All right, so there's some information you can download. All right, knowing the basics of online, all right, is absolutely the first place to start. And the help zone, that's a big one. All right, to get yourself additional resources. I have a little faculty bio here you can look at. The first big part of our content actually is right here in the syllabus. So this is just a link, all right, which you could also get to from the left over here. All right, and notice, all right, it's got the whole semester laid out here. All right, breakdown of the percentage of the information, and all right, the syllabus. Also, you'll notice that everything has both files of a Word doc and a PDF. All right. So be aware they're the exact same file. They're just up there twice. All right. So in case whichever file works better for you. So lots of info on the syllabus. Give this a browse. A couple of big things I want to point out. One, all right, is grade breakdown. 15% are the home funds. Notice we have home fun, not homework. All right, because I believe there is a lot in a name and I want you to be excited. All right, learning is fun. All right, learning material is fun. So, all right, we have the home funds. That's going to be done in Pearson. We're going to look at that in just a minute. The activities, all right, and the discussion board, all right, we'll look at that. Quizzes and exams, all right, which use Lockdown Browser. That's going to be the big part of our course, all right, and then a project. Since I don't want everything to be, tests, Some information, without a doubt, and we're going to talk about this, AI, all right, responsible use of AI. That's the biggest thing. All right, AI is out there. Everything we're going to learn in this class, of course, all right, you can like Google and basically figure out. The idea is that we're trying to teach critical thinking. Okay, it's not so much about the actual material, but you need to be able to logic check, all right, what the technology is doing. Okay. So that's the whole thing. Like when you do your project, right? It shouldn't just be 100% AI generated. You use AI to boost your knowledge forward, right? You type something up, then let AI improve it. AI is just going to become more and more prevalent, all right? But you have to keep humans in the loop, and I just cannot emphasize that enough. All right. If AI is doing everything, then we don't need humans, and we're trying to, right, prevent that. Okay. So resources, some other information. Big thing, without a doubt, everything is due at 12 p.m. noon. Noon, noon, noon. All right, 12 p.m. is middle day. All right, it is not midnight. Okay, so make sure you understand what 12 p.m. means. Says it in a million. For the home funds. All right. Sometimes rounding is kind of annoying in Pearson. So for the home fund assignments, you only need a 93% or higher. All right, and it keeps track of your percentage there. Activities should be done uh, all the way through. So, and then you're allowed a cheat sheet on every single test. All right, so you don't have to memorize anything. All right, you can use a cheat sheet. And then one other thing, so exams and projects, all right, are to be worked independently. Feel free to work in groups, all right, on activities and home funds. All right. But everything should be submitted like individually. And then the big thing. So this class uses Lockdown Browser. You should be able to do this class from anywhere. But without a doubt, all right, Lockdown Browser, all right, only works on computers, so it's not tablets anymore. All right. And it requires a second camera option. I have a pretty extensive video, okay, where I actually did this. All right. So basically use your phone as your second camera. All right. And the camera on your computer is your primary camera. So you have two cameras. Okay. And I have some details about how those cameras should be placed. All right. And that's the biggest thing I'm going to look at for the intro quiz. You should attempt to get the intro quiz completed immediately. If you cannot get Lockdown Browser to work on a computer you have access to, or you don't have a computer or whatever, then you need to set up live proctoring. Now, all right, that's going to be kind of restrictive because either that means you are coming to Gillette or, all right, you are going to the Sheridan Testing Center. So those are basically the only other options. All right, you are coming to Gillette to come and proctor with me, or you are proctoring at the Sheridan Testing Center. So ideally, you have Lockdown Browser, you can get all that to work, but I would get on that immediately. Not getting that first quiz done is a spiraling effect for the rest of the semester. Okay, and then I have a layout of when things are due. Notice that pretty much everything is due on Friday, all right, at 12 p.m., noon, and you should have that stuff done. Now, I highly encourage you to work ahead without a doubt. Technology goes wrong. I mean, it's just what happens in this world. Okay. Canvas got hacked. I've seen Amazon, like in the last year, Canvas has been hacked. Amazon Web Services got hacked. Uh, the entirety of like the middle mountain states had a giant power outage, right? Stuff goes down for days at a time. So work ahead. Okay. Those are all things we don't control, but that's what the world is now. All right. So do not delay. Do not put things off just because it's due right on this day. You should have it done at least 2 days before that. Everything is available starting day one of this course. Okay. All right. Back to where we were. So syllabus, lot there to unpack. Read through that as well. Intro discussion. So without a doubt, okay. So we have one discussion, introduce yourself and respond to two other posts. In general, okay, so we have a Q&A forum. So if you have questions, this is mostly for student-to-student communication. If you want to talk to me, send me an email, all right? But you can post questions on here because if my email response time is, 48 hours, 2 days, business days. So but if you want quick response, all right, and maybe you're posting it on a weekend, all right, someone can answer you faster. But the only comment, the only discussion that is required for grade is the intro discussion. All right. There's some other ones, and I might post some other ones sporadically as well. All right, that are just for you guys, not part of the grade, just for our general learning. Okay. I have a thing, Pearson, my lab and mastering. All right. How to sign up. All right. In order to sign up, basically you go over here to access Pearson. All right. So here's the walkthroughs to basically take you through this. But you go over here to access Pearson. All right. And then say open Pearson. All right. And it's going to have you sign in. You link your previous accounts or create an all new account. I have that um, in that walkthrough. Since I already have an account, I'm going to go to mine and sign into my account. The biggest thing is that you don't need a course ID. You need to make sure, all right, that you have this linked um, to your Canvas account. But once you have it linked to your Canvas account the very first time, okay, you go through Canvas the first time, you can then from then on go directly into you can go directly into Pearson MyLab mastering from then on. Okay, so there's only 4, 5, whatever, how many? 7. There are a total of 7 home fun assignments. Four categories is what I was trying to say. Notice because 2 of these are due the same day. Then these next 2 are due the same day. That one's due one day, and then these 2 are due the same day. I broke them up just because their like concepts are together. So, but they're all part, right? There's 4 quarters of material we're going to cover. And basically go in here, right? And there's only, 30 plus questions. They're not too long. Pearson MyLab Mastering is really, really nice because you go in here, you can answer questions, all right? And notice, right? I can go check answer. Oh, no, that's not it. Check answer. Oh, that's not it. Final check, you get 3 attempts, all right? You can view an example that'll walk you through a problem just like that, or you can say, help me solve this. Now, help me solve this marks this question incorrect, but solves this exact problem. Okay, right? And it walks you through the steps in order to do that, all right, to solve this exact problem. Then you can go through, all right, and hold on, get this wrong one more time. After I get that completely wrong, I can click similar question, and it basically will let me do a question just like that. So there's no reason I shouldn't get 100%, but like I said, you only need to have a 93%, all right, on each assignment for full credit. There's also lots of other stuff in Pearson as well. So the e-text is here. You study plan based on what questions you miss. Basically, and you can go, when you go into e-text questions, the study plan, and I can go into quizzes and tests. I have an infinite number, right? Look at this, 0 out of infinite attempts. I can go in here and do as many extra problems as I want for practice. So people are always asking me that. This is where you do that. I can get lots of problems. The only thing required, like I said, are those 7 home fun assignments, all right, in this. But there is lots of additional resources, which is why I like this, all right? The book is here, all right? In addition to everything I create, there's a lot of additional information here. All right, let's go back to Pearson, back to Canvas. Okay, so, all right. Oh, and also important note, I'll have a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm waiting on financial aid or my next paycheck or whatever. You can get that for 14 days, all right, for free. So I've had people, right, that are like, oh man, I can't afford to pay for this. You can get all those done, all right, in that 14 days. You sign up, you complete all 7 assignments, you just bust it out and really dedicate yourself. You can get those all done in the first 2 weeks. All right. So I've had people do that. It is definitely an option. Uh, okay. And then intro quiz. So the intro quiz, the biggest thing, requires lockdown browser. This is without a doubt the biggest thing, all right, that is the biggest barrier in this course that I talk to people, right? They can't get lockdown browser to work or don't have access. That's the biggest thing. That's what this quiz is about. The intro quiz is really a syllabus quiz. Its real goal is making sure you can get lockdown browser to work and make sure your camera. I'm going to look at everyone's camera placements. Okay, so this is all about making sure that you get the camera set up. You know, you have the first one faced at you, all right, and the second one views your workspace. That's what these two cameras are about. When I go in here, right, I go take the quiz, and it says download lockdown browser. That's what that whole other video is about. All right, download that lockdown browser and then running lockdown browser. All right, so that's what this whole video is about. All right, running lockdown browser. Once you're done with that, okay, once you've signed up for Pearson, all right, you took the intro quiz, did your intro discussion. That's the first week of material. Once you're done with that, immediately get in and start working, all right, on the actual content of the course. So each section lays out pretty much the same. All right, there's a checklist of what we're going to do. Then there's the lectures. All right, these lectures, all right, the problem solving lecture, all right, and the sequences lecture, they correspond with these videos. All right, here's the problem solving lecture and here's the sequence lecture video. And basically, you do those lectures and you fill in the notes, all right, as well as any other notes, any point you need to pause, all right. I understand that I talk fast, but it's a video. You can pause it, rewind it, whatever you want to do. You watch the videos. Once you've watched the videos, what I recommend is this sequence. Do the videos, then go do Pearson Home Funds, then, all right, do the activities. So each one, right? So it says right here, problem solving sequence activity. These you can do an unlimited number of times as well, just like the home funds. But it says take the quiz, but notice it's not timed. You have unlimited attempts. All right, no time limit, unlimited attempts. It's an activity. Okay, I can't change this to where it says do the activity. So go in here, I do the activity, and basically you just practice with the activity, right? Submit it, and I can do this an unlimited number of times. So it says submit. Oh, and I missed that question. It even tells me, right? And I say, take it again. And you do this an unlimited number of times, all right, until I get full credit on these. This is practice. Now, why I say to do these last is that I write these. I wrote the activities, all right? I write the quizzes. So these problems are going to be worded most similarly to how I write questions. That's why I suggest that this is after you do the lectures, after you do the home fund. That's the order I suggest. All right, so after you do the lecture, the home funds, all right, and the activities, all right, for everything, then I go in and I actually do the quiz for the material. This, all right, the actual quiz, right, for this first quarter of material, that'll be everything on problem solving, sequences, algebra, and proportions is what this quiz is. This is Lockdown Browser, and this is a timed quiz, all right, and you only have one attempt. So that's the biggest thing. Make sure you're all set up with your cheat sheet, okay, all right, and then, all right, go in and take that quiz. And every single quiz requires Lockdown Browser. Basically, the entire course breaks down just like that. One last little thing, you get to the project. All right, project is about, right, a fifth, a sixth of the grade. And it's really just a simple measurement project. It's really a really good project. So I highly encourage, you to read that when the time comes. I mean, it's 2/3 of the way through the course. So you have to worry about that. But hopefully, all right, that gives you everything you need to know about the course, and I hope you have yourself a wonderful day. Thank you and goodbye.